So today me and Katie are demonstrating the Peabody Developmental Motor Scales test. This is a norm reference and criterion reference test, and it can be used for children from birth to 5 years old. The normative samples are taken from over 2,000 children in 46 different states in the U.S., and there are 6 subtests in this test that measure motor abilities that develop early on in life. So this includes reflexes, stationary, locomotion, object manipulation, grasping, and visual motor integration. So there's a subtest for each of those categories. And then your results of the subtests are used to determine 3 composite scores, and those are your gross motor, fine motor, and you add the 2 of them together to get your total, which is the combination of the gross and fine motor scores. So there's a variety of different tools that are needed, including test manipulatives. So there is a section in the book that shows which test manipulatives are provided with the exam, and then there are also test manipulatives that the occupational therapist or practitioner needs to provide themselves. So they should definitely look at that page before beginning the test to make sure that they have all of the equipment. So that is 14 items that are included and 20 items that need to be supplied. There are 5 principles that go along with this assessment, and this is that you can use this assessment to estimate motor competence compared to the child's peers. You can compare their gross motor and fine motor quotients in order to see if there's a discrepancy. You can assess qualitative and quantitative aspects of their skills, identify specific skill deficits, and evaluate their progress. And as well, this can be used for research purposes. So this assessment takes 45 to 60 minutes in total. So each half takes about 20 to 30 minutes, and that's the gross motor and the fine motor. And if need be, this assessment can be broken into shorter sessions if the child loses interest or begins to get frustrated. You can do this assessment pretty much anywhere. In the booklet, it says you can do it outside, you can do it in a classroom, in a hallway, so it's pretty flexible. The parents are allowed to stay if you believe that the child will do better with the parent in the room, and also if the child is reluctant that the parent is leaving. The child should be wearing comfortable shoes, usually non-slip soles or sneakers are preferred, and they should not do the assessment in socks. If they don't have sneakers, they should do it barefoot for best results. If the child is under preschool age, they can sit in the parent's lap for parts of the test where they need to be seated. If they are preschool age or above, they should be sitting in a chair with their feet on the floor, positioned in front of a table. So when you are doing the test, you should not comment on accuracy, and like I said, if they get tired, you can pick it up and do it later. So for the administration of this test, you follow the administration booklet. So we have this for the examiner's manual, and then we have 2 forms. We have this form as well as this form. So as you'll see later in the video, I did this test with Katie. I did one portion of it, so you can see how it's actually scored. But as far as each item goes, each item is administered to the child starting at their age until the child either gets a 2 or has received 3 trials of the task. So each item is scored at either 0, 1, or 2, with 2 being the highest. So 0 means the child can't or won't attempt the item and they don't have the skill. 1 is there's a clear resemblance to the mastery criteria, and they're trying to get the skill, but they aren't quite there. And 2 is they have met the criteria for mastery. So you start at the age that they are, as I said, assuming that they'll get a 2 on the first question. If the child cannot get a 2 on the first question you ask them, you go back until they get 2s on 3 questions in a row. If the child does get a 2 on the first question, you continue asking questions in order until they get 3 in a row that are 0. So as you can see on Katie's, she got 2s all the way through here, and then she started getting 0s over here. So she got 1, 2, 3, and that is where we stopped. So for the scoring, all the scoring information is located in the examiner's manual.
So first you add up the score on the examiner booklet. So you add up the score. I have calculated her chronological age, and you take the raw score that you added up and you place it here, and then you transfer it to this scoring sheet. Once you have transferred it to that scoring sheet, you go to Appendix A in the examiner's manual. So this book, you go to Appendix A, and you can transfer the raw score to a standard score and a percentile score, and then you also transfer that onto the scoring sheet. Then you go to Appendix C in the same book, and you can get you transfer the raw score to the age equivalent score. And then you can go to the examiner booklet on page 31 and you can see if they fall below or above average. So you complete these steps for all 6 parts of the test, as we only did one, so we only completed it for one. But after completing all parts of the test, you can find the sum of the standard scores, the quotients, and the percentile scores. So when it was all said and done, we had this row filled out since we did it for object manipulation. So there are some pros and cons to the assessment tool. Some of the pros are you can break up the test over multiple sessions. The tests are both fine and gross motor skills. It can be used to test functional skills and compares the child to norms. And a lot of it is natural movements for the child. Some cons are that it can take a very long time to administer, so it can be tough for a small child to sit through. A lot of the supplies that are needed, you have to provide on your own. And the scoring is very time consuming and can be confusing for somebody who's never administered the test before.
Hi, I'm Katie, and I'm an occupational therapist, and I'm going to be doing the Peabody Assessment today on Katie, who is a 22-month-old child. I'm going to be using this book for writing her scoring down. So since she's 22 months old, we are going to start with kicking a ball. So watch me. Stand up. Kick the ball like I did. Throw the ball as far as you can. Throw the ball as far as you can. Kick the ball like I did. Catch the ball. Throw me the ball.
throw me the ball. Throw me the ball. Throw me the ball. So that is Katie's first 0 because she was unable to do that task. Kick the ball like I did. Kick the ball like I did. Kick the ball like I did. That is Katie's second 0 because she was unable to do that task. Catch the ball. Catch the ball. Catch the ball. That is Katie's third 0, so this assessment is over. The results for Katie's assessment came out that her raw score was 22. So this is all being filled out on the sheet. So her raw score is 22, her age equivalent is 26 months, her percentile is 75%, and her standard score was 12. And that came out to her being about average.
So when you get your standard scores, if you wanted to show a parent where the child falls on like average or above average, you can go to page 31 in the examiner's manual, and it will tell you based on standard score where the child fell. So since my score was a 12, I fell into the average range.